Hi everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss about regularization network. We are going to discuss about regularization network. So, the regularization network is introduced by two scientists by name Poggio, Poggio, Poggio and Girossi. So, the regularization network was introduced by Poggio and Girossi. And the regularization network consists of three layers. They are nothing but input layer, hidden layer, output layer. In the figure, it is very clear that the input layer consisting of different input nodes like x1, x2, x3 and so on to xm-1, xm. Okay. And next, the hidden layer consists of g1, g2 and so on to gn. So that is the hidden layer of n green functions. Next we have single output unit in the output layer. Okay. So this is the regularization figure. Okay. So now we will see. So the regularization has three layers. Coming to the first layer of network consists of input nodes. The first layer of the network consists of input nodes. So those input nodes were represented as x1, x2, x3 and so on to xm. Okay. So in the matrix form, the size of the input layer in a matrix form can be represented as. So here we have m number of layers. So m by 1. Okay. M rows and 1 column, because x1, x2, x3 and so on to xm we are representing. So we can represent the size of the input, the size of the input layer in a matrix form can be represented as m by 1. Okay. So here what we are discussing is the first layer of network consists of input nodes whose number is equal to the dimension rho of the input vector x. Okay. And coming to the second layer, the second layer is nothing but it is the hidden layer, and it is made up of non-linear units. It is made up of non-linear units that are connected directly to all the nodes in the input layer. Okay. So the second layer is hidden layer. It is made up of non-linear units, and they are directly connected to all the nodes in the input layer. The activation function of individual hidden units. The activation function of individual hidden units are described by the Green's function. Okay, they are represented with capital G of x colon xi, which represents the output of the ith hidden layer. Okay, so here G of x colon xi is the Green function, and here it represents ith hidden layer. Okay, and coming to the third layer, it is nothing but the output layer. It has one linear unit, or we can say that it has a single linear unit which is fully connected to the hidden layer. See, here only one single linear unit is there in the output layer, and it is fully connected with all the nodes of the hidden layer. Okay, so in the hidden layer we have n green functions representing with z1, z2 and so on to gn. So they all are connected with the single linear unit, that is the output layer, at the output layer, right? So next, what the author is trying to tell is the Green's function he is represented with g of x colon xi is assumed to be positive definite for all I in the regularization network. So here a scientist by name Haykin, Haykin, Haykin states that if the above condition is satisfied, okay, then the Green's function g of x colon xi will have the form of Gaussian function. It will be in the form of Gaussian function, and if it is in the form of Gaussian function, then this network will produce optimal solution. So hope you have understood. So what the author is telling is, so the Green's function g of x colon xi is assumed to be positive definite for all I in the regularization network. If that assumption is true, a scientist by name Haykin states that if the above assumption is satisfied on Green's function, then it will be in the form of Gaussian function, and if the Green's function is in the form of Gaussian function, then this network will produce optimal solution. Okay, so further the scientists Poggio and Girossi, they have three properties. They have defined three properties of regularization network. The first one is the regularization network is an universal approximator. It is an universal approximator. We means, so what do you mean by an universal approximator? Universal approximator is nothing but it states that so it can approximate any continuous function for inputs with a specific range. That is what an universal approximator means. So the second property is the regularization network has the best approximation property. Okay. So the third one is the solution computed by the regularization network is optimal, means the best. Whatever the solution computed by the regularization network, it gives the optimal solution, means it gives the best solution. Okay, so these are the three properties what the Poggio and Giroso have specified. Okay, so this is all about regularization network. Hope you have understood. Okay, thank you.
We will see the network architecture of RBFN, radial basis functional network. Okay, so the following, so whatever the architecture you are shown, this is the architecture of RBFN. So here this architecture consists of an input vector and a layer of RBF neurons and an output layer. Okay, and the output layer is specifying one node per category, or it is specifying some class of data, right? So now we will see input vector. So here we are going to classify input vector. Regarding the input vector we are discussing. Here we are going to classify n-dimensional input vector. Okay, here we are going to classify n-dimensional input vector, and the entire input vector is shown to each of RBFN neurons. So whatever the RBF neurons were there, they are able to see the entire input vector. Okay, that's what the other is telling. Coming to the second layer, the second layer is RBF neurons. Okay, so here, so if you see, mu is the prototype to compare. Okay, so different inputs were there. This input belongs to which prototype? Here internally there is a prototype. See, each RBF neuron stores a prototype vector from the training set. So internally every RBF neuron, internally it stores a prototype vector. Okay, when this input vector is shown, so these RBF neurons, they are able to see the entire input vector. Okay, so thereby they will compare which input vector suits it. Okay, so each RBF neuron compares the input vector to its prototype. Okay, because every RBF neuron consists of one prototype internally, no. So this RBF neuron compares the input vector to its prototype and outputs a value between 0 and 1, which is a measure of similarity. Okay, it produces an output like 0 to 1. Okay, so not 0 to 1, it produces an output between 0 and 1, either 0 or 1, which is a measure of similarity. If the input is equal to the prototype, if this input vector is similar to the or equal to the prototype, then the output of that RBF neuron will be 1. Otherwise, it will be 0. Okay, right? So the shape of the RBF neuron response is a bell curve. It is shown. So the shape is a bell curve. It is clearly shown. Okay, the neuron's response value is also called its activation value. Okay, it is also called as its activation value. Okay, and coming to the output nodes. So the output of the network, the output of the network consists of set of nodes. Okay, one per category that we are trying to classify. See here in the output node, it is showing weighted sum. Okay, so based upon that, no, it is going to calculate based upon the weighted sum. It is going to calculate the category to which it belongs to. Okay, so here each output node computes some score. Okay, typically a classification decision is made by assigning the input to the category with the highest score. Okay, right? So because each output node is computing the score for different category, every output node has its own set of weights. Okay, the output node will give a positive weight to the RBF neurons that belong to its category, and which does not belongs, no, it will give a negative weight. Okay, hope you have understood, right? Okay, this is all about the RBFN network. So here it's very clear that we have the input vector and we have RBF neurons. Okay, we have the output unit. So the input vector, it is nothing but the input vector is nothing but the thing which we are going to classify. Okay, so the entire input is shown to the RBF neurons. Here the RBF neurons are nothing but they are in bell curve. Okay, so what they will do is they will so the RBF neuron compares the input vector to its prototype and outputs a value either 0 and 1. Okay, so if they think that the input is equal to the prototype, if the input matches to their prototype, then the output will be 1. Otherwise, no, it will be 0. Okay, so that's what the author is telling. Coming to the output unit, no, in the output unit, it is nothing but the summation unit. Here, what we are going to do is, here we are going to categorize based upon the score. So here the value will be, most probably the value will be, will have positive weight only. Okay, positive weight will be suppose if we have positive weight to the RBF neuron, means it belongs to the RBF neurons. Otherwise, no, we will get the negative weight, right? So this is the introduction or overview of RBFN, right? Hope you have understood. Thank you.